They did it. They managed it. Just when I thought Cyberpunk was at its peak, couldn't get any better. There was no way they could top it. They were walking away from the game after 2.0. It's good. It's where it needs to be. They have actually gone and updated Cyberpunk 2077 again with what they're calling the 2.1 update. We thought 2.0 was going to be it, besides like maybe some bug fixes and this and that, but no, they actually have added 2.1, which adds a ton of stuff. First and foremost, more time with those that you love. Specifically, this means that you can invite your romantic partners over to your apartment and relax. Fill in the blanks. You also get access to a Night City metro system, which basically you're given like a card to access it and you can ride around the city. You also get access to what's effectively an in-game radio. There are all sorts of new road encounters with gangs that you'll encounter throughout the game. There's reworked police systems. They've also tweaked different perks and things. So heavy weapons will dismember enemies. You can throw bodies easily. Like, all sorts of stuff has been added and tweaked here. And again, it's just when you thought it couldn't get any better, when you thought Cyberpunk is at its peak, you know, they fixed it and then added the Phantom Liberty DLC. It's in a good spot. No, they come along and they add even more stuff. It's wild. So you know what? Let's actually see it and try it for ourselves. We are in Cyberpunk 2077 right now. Everything cranked, including path tracing, because why the gosh darn heck not? And I actually want to try these things out and see just how good these additions are, or if they're hardly noticeable at all. I mean, once we're actually in the game, if we pull up the map, let's see just what's changed. So we have reported crimes, tarot cards, apartments. Okay, all of that's pretty standard, but where are these transit locations? Oh, right here. So we can pull up the metro locations. You see they're all marked mostly over here. They're not actually over in Pacifica and Dogtown or anything. So we're gonna have to go over here and let's try this one. Let's try going to this location. Now, I will say I actually previously did a video probably, I don't know, maybe close to a year ago, where I had a mod installed that actually gave you access to the metro system. And it was pretty solid. I mean, you can see it on screen now. I'll have my editor Jacob put it up. And you can see it worked pretty well. It actually allowed you to go up an elevator, kind of warp to a different area and ride the metro in first person looking out the window, and fast travel that way was really, really cool. And frankly, for a mod, it was crazy that it worked at all. But that was all the way back in like version 1.63. It was well before all of these major overhauls. So I'm very interested to see if this in-game edition is actually better than the mod, or if the mod had it figured out all that time ago. But okay, we're here. There's a good number of people gathered outside, but if we actually walk up, there's N-Cart. Okay, interesting. Now, basically how they've framed this is that V now has access to an N-Cart card, which is basically just like your typical transit pass in a big city to ride like the subway or the tube dilly if you happen to be of the UK persuasion. And so technically, I think I should be able to just go here, ride the metro, and I use the little card. It's got its own little animation that plays out. Oh, this is super cool. And then you can select the destination and the route you want to ride. Interesting. Okay, so if I select this, I'm gonna go all the way over to Watson. It's a little confusing, I'm gonna be real, but let's try this. I'm assuming it's just gonna be the path that it's charting out. So let's do that, and then we walk forward. Okay. Darkness. Okay, we hop on the tram with other NPCs. This wasn't a thing in the mod. In the mod, you basically were just in a little cart by yourself and that was it. But now there's actual NPCs like playing the guitar. And I can change where I'm standing. I can press 1 and go stand by the door.
No need to be a bitch.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. And look at this, we're actually just riding across the city. This is crazy. I will also note that if you're seeing any screen tearing or anything, that is not the game. That is the capture card struggling with the higher frame rates, because right now we're running at 96, 102, 103 frames a second at 4K upscaled with path tracing and everything. Like, we got this cranked and it's running that well. That's crazy. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, this is a pretty badass way to explore the city. And if you're looking to stay immersed, this is the way to do it. I mean, why fast travel at all when you can do this? This is way, way better. At least in my opinion. Like, one of the things I love about Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, is that when you're playing that game, once you boot up, you have very little reason to actually leave the game. Like, once you're playing, you're in it. You're in it to win it. And it's one of the best things about it. It's like, you can technically fast travel with, I guess, like the carriage system in that game. But in this case, like, you can also just straight up warp using the fast travel points and warp somewhere else. But if they give you a means of exploring the city and staying immersed, I'm gonna choose that like every single time. Why wouldn't I? So I'm a fan of this. I'll tell you what. Ooh, I'll take all these. I keep hitting E instead of F. I'm out of practice, fam. I'm sorry. There's also definitely a lot more police officers just casually patrolling around. And I wonder what's gonna happen if I create kind of a disruptance. A disturbance, dare I say. Okay, shooting at me. Are they gonna call for backup if it's just me at 1 star? Let's see. Oh, another one's coming. Is it another officer running? Yep, another officer on patrol is running, and now they got a bunch of other people coming in from the call. Okay. You can see them on the map coming up in the cars. Okay, they're looking for me. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can see it slowly ramping up. This is pretty cool. They really have made a lot of little bitty improvements. And now let's see if those new dismemberment stuff happens. Oh, wait, I messed it up. Go here. Perform finisher. Okay, that was a little underwhelming. Let's try it again. Let's go Cyber Psycho mode. It's okay. I have an inhaler. That makes me impervious to bullets. And there we go. Now, one of the other most surprising things that they've done in this update is they've actually gone through and tweaked boss fights, which I don't know about you. I can't think of the last time that a developer released a game and then like 3 years later went back in and tweaked the final boss encounters to make them more interesting or compelling. Like, I can't think of another time that's ever happened. Imagine if they just went back today and tweaked how like Elden Ring finished with like the Elden Beast and just reworked that completely, adding moves and stuff. It would be very surprising. That's basically what they've done here. Oh, did I get lucky? I think I actually have a save file right where we need to be. Okay, spoiler alert. Like, for main story spoilers, I'm gonna try to show you the end of the game here, and we're gonna see how different it actually is. Let's see. I don't actually know. I haven't looked up any videos. I have no idea how different it is. Let's see. Let's do it. I haven't seen this. I don't know how they tweaked it. I'm getting all the texts telling me, oh, I need a favor and stuff. I'm a little busy. Open it. You know what's coming.
You can do this.
Wait for it. Adam Smasher. Ooh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. He is way more aggressive than I remember. Jeez. Oh, God. I'm too out of practice for this, man. Oh my god, dude, he is something else. I also don't really remember what like my build was when I like took him on in this save file, because this save file is from 2021, so this is like been a minute, but my goodness, he is way more aggressive than I remember him being. I remember him being like pretty cheesable, like you could just kind of stand there and he wouldn't do a whole lot. Like he would just kind of sit around and you could run up and kind of toss grenades and cheese him that way, but it was pretty straightforward. But in this case, he is on another level of aggression. My goodness gracious. And now apparently the reason they wanted to rework this is because there were a lot of complaints that Adam Smasher was not actually as intense as the lore of Cyberpunk made him out to be. People were kind of frustrated that he actually fought kind of lame. Like there were a lot of grunt enemies in the game that were more difficult than him. And so it makes sense why they did it. But my goodness. Oh, jeez, man. This is like a whole new fight. This is... Oh my god, reload, damn you. This is something else, man. I gotta go weak points, but he's so freaking fast. See, I remember doing this, like circling around, just chucking grenades. Oh god. Oh my god. Dude, he hurts so bad. I think a sniper rifle is not the weapon to use in this fight. I'll tell you what. Oh my god. Right in the face. Okay, I've whittled 5% damage off. My goodness. And now I gotta spend 15 minutes reloading. Goodness gracious, man. Let's go Mantis Blades. It's at least doing a little something. Oh my god. Dude, this is the Atom Smasher we heard about. This makes sense. This is on another level. Wow. And this isn't the only boss they've reworked like this. They've reworked a handful of bosses like this. Like, it's not just Atom Smasher that's gotten a facelift. It's a lot of big bosses. This article from GamesRadar recaps all of the major changes that they've added, and you can see they've added like Beast in Me racing side missions and stuff, repeatable racing missions, and then also the bosses Yasha Ivanov, Boris Rybakov, and Atom Smasher are all now tougher and more interesting foes to face, employing new tactics and abilities. Notably, Atom Smasher's late game boss fight sees him benefiting from Sandevistan and serious power boost, making him a highly aggressive and fast fighter. I believe it. After trying that, my goodness. They've also added a ton of new vehicles on Auto Fixer, and you can mark favorite vehicles. Motorbike leaning allows for greater control while riding. Previously closed off highway section spanning Haywood to Santo Domingo has been properly opened and is used by NPCs. I mean, they've gone through and added a ton of stuff. And bear in mind, after the release of Phantom Liberty and the 2.0 update, most of us thought that was it. Like, they even came out and said, yep, that's kind of the last thing we plan on doing. No big expansions or updates now. And then they just casually drop this. It's wild to me that they just casually do it. And again, like, they've also added stuff for companions where you can invite them back to your apartment and, like, as you can see, cuddle if that tickles your fancy. They've added new cyberware, things that boost RAM regeneration or armor when your RAM is below a certain limit, or capacity cost changes, armor changes, all sorts of stuff has been rebalanced. Like, so much stuff. And listen, I understand a lot of people are like, hey, why are we just like hyping up Cyberpunk when it launched so broken and CDPR screwed up so badly? And listen, I understand all of that and those frustrations, and I think they're fair. But the reason we were so frustrated is because we were so sure that CDPR was capable of so much more than they delivered back in 2020 with Cyberpunk 2077. We got that game and we're like, guys, there's like some good stuff in here, but you can do so much better than this pile of broken garbage. And they knew it too. So they spent years and years working on it to improve it and getting it to the point where it is today, which I think is one of the best open world RPG games probably ever made. Sure, there's still some stuff that isn't as good as it could have been, or there's certain features like wall running that's still not in the game that they talked about having previously. But overall, the game is phenomenal, and I think that deserves some credit. Just like you could say, hey, No Man's Sky, it's not the game we wanted back in 2016, but I still think that we should call companies out when they do something really, really awful, but we should give them praise when they do something really, really good. And in this case, with Cyberpunk 2077, this was a game that they didn't actually have to fix. And I know it's like, well, they needed to win back my praise. And I agree, that's the same for me. But from a purely corporate perspective, they could have just dumped this, moved on to The Witcher 4, and probably been okay. I think a lot of people would have seen the trailers for The Witcher 4 and would have been excited, bought it, played it. It probably would have been pretty good, and we would have moved on. And Cyberpunk would have been just a weird footnote in the history of CDPR. But instead, they spent years and years and millions and millions and millions of dollars reworking it to the point where now the game is not just good, but they're adding little quality of life improvements like this. And I think that deserves some praise. And I want to be clear, if like BGS comes and gives that same level of love and attention to Starfield, I'll praise BGS at that point. If Arcane Austin goes and adds that level of care and detail and improvements to Redfall, I'll be praising them in a few years. But they have to put their money where their mouth is. They have to prove with their actions that they mean what they say. And so as of right now with like Redfall, yeah, they're saying they'll improve it, but we haven't seen it. With Cyberpunk 2077, we've seen it. And in the case of all of you guys with a PlayStation 5, Series X or S, or a PC, you can actually play it. You don't have to just see it in this video. You can actually go and play this right now and see how improved the game is for yourself with all of the free updates that they've dropped. And really, it's just wild to me that this is the same game, technically speaking, that we had all those years ago. And I think it deserves a shout out for being really, really freaking impressive. I also keep thinking that I'm seeing like terrible screen tearing, and then I remember like, oh no, it's part of like the artifact distorting V's ocular sensors or whatever her eyes have been replaced with. So it's like, it's not actually screen tearing, but it looks like it. It's so believable. Look at that right there. We have a big boy. Ooh, baby, look how much that did. And boom. Booyakasha. Oh, I love it. I love sniper rifles in this game. Let me tell you what. It just feels good. Hey you. Hey you. Boom. Oh man, I missed Cyberpunk. I've been busy playing Avatar and a bunch of other games. And you know what? Sometimes it's just good to come home. So yeah, I'll tell you what, I was not expecting to make any other Cyberpunk videos for a long time, but they've actually managed to improve the game significantly again. And I think the improvements to the boss fights are really cool. Adding the ability to meet companions back at your apartments is also a really cool addition, helping with immersion once again. The improvements to the police system, the vehicles, racing, side quests, all of this stuff is fantastic. The metro system, again, adding to a sense of immersion while exploring. I think that's great. I mean, and every part of it, as far as I can tell, is better than the mods I had to use previously to get the same or similar effect. So there's nothing really bad to say. It's just good job, CDPR. I mean, good on you. Isn't it great to just have good things to say about something? It's just refreshing. Like, I'm so used to being like, oh, well, the game has this good thing, but then it has these other bad things. And so it ends up being a mixed bag, like with Avatar or any other game that we've reviewed recently, to be honest. But instead, like here, it's just, yep, it's awesome. And it's even better than it was before, which was already pretty awesome. So go check out the more awesome thing. It's awesomer. And speaking of awesome things, check out the sponsor of this video, Apex Gaming PCs. We were able to play this game today with path tracing and all of the crazy graphics enabled using this computer right here, which is from Apex Gaming PCs. It is an absolute behemoth, and when I needed a new gaming computer for the channel, I decided to go with the guys that really know what they're doing, and that's Apex Gaming PCs. If you've wanted to get into PC gaming, but you just don't even really know where to start, their website, which I'll have linked in the description and in the pinned comment, is a great place to go. I also have a promotional code which you need to use to save even more money. And with this builder that we have on the site, you can actually see that there's different variants that you can choose from to start with, and then you can customize it even further if you want to swap out, say, an SSD for a bigger one, or if you want to maybe add more RAM or change the type of RAM. You can tweak all all of that here in the builder, and they'll also show you roughly what FPS you can expect to get in various games using those different stats that you can swap in and out, which is super handy. Not to mention that your PC is actually going to be built by guys and gals that actually do this day in, day out. This is what they specialize in. They know what they're doing. And as a result, you get an amazing computer that your friends will be very, very jealous of. And they ship it straight to you. You unbox it, plug it in, and it just works. So check them out today at the link in the description box below or in the pinned comment. And if you choose to get a PC through them, you'll be helping me out, you'll be helping yourself out, and Apex Gaming PCs. It's a phenomenal win-win-win situation. But okay, with all that said, thank you for watching. I love all of you dearly. And here's to CDPR with Cyberpunk 2077. Who would have thought 3 years ago we'd be sitting here with like major overhauls to the police system and metros being added, highways being opened in the game, new romance options being added. Like, it's crazy to me. And I feel that CDPR is working very hard to try and win back our favor, and it might just be working. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I love you all dearly. Thank you for making my dreams a reality every single day. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.